Good evening, everyone. This is Ron Tyler with Emergency Management Associates coming to you live from the Crossroads of the West in Salt Lake City, Utah. The time right now is 6:06 p.m. Mountain Standard Time in the Crossroads of the West in Salt Lake City. We appreciate all of you that are joining us right now here on our program, and those who will join us throughout the program, and even those that will join us on a delayed broadcast basis. We appreciate all of you being here. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, we are going to be talking about earthquakes, and we're going to be talking about the coronavirus. I want to first start off with the coronavirus. Let me give you a few statistics right off the bat. Right now, let me bring this slide up here. Oh, that's not it. Let's see, I think that's it right here. No, that's not it. No. Oh, I don't know where it went. That's weird. That's weird. Anyway, there are over 100 cases of the coronavirus throughout the world. It's out of hand. It's out of hand. Right now, we have 19 patients on the Diamond Princess, which is a cruise ship off the coast of San Francisco. We have 19 patients there. Now, those 19 patients have been diagnosed with the coronavirus. They are tourists on the cruise ship. We have 3 passengers or 3 crew members also on the ship that have been diagnosed with the coronavirus. Now, I want to tell you about one passenger that is no longer on the ship, and he disembarked, I guess, about a week ago, and he came back here to Davis County, Utah, just north of Salt Lake. That man has been tested positive for the coronavirus, and he's under isolation with he and his family by the Department of Health in the state of Utah, and he's going to be staying there for the duration. The authorities are not giving anyone names of this patient, but he's under isolation, and he was on the on the Diamond Princess cruise ship off the coast of San Francisco right now. That ship is still not being allowed to come into port because of the possibility of this virus spreading to people in the city of San Francisco or beyond. So that's a story there. There's also another story. The virus is a contributing factor in a Montrose, Colorado woman's death. Montrose, Colorado is over on the southwest side of Colorado. It's a small town not too far from Grand Junction. A Montrose woman says her sister died in part because of a strain of the coronavirus, and it was not confirmed to be COVID-19. In fact, it's listed as one of the causes of death on her death certificate. Quote, "I made the decision for the family to just let her go," said Montrose resident Almeda Stone. She's still processing the death of her sister, Lola Short, who died January 8th of this year. They just kept reassuring us it was a flu. When I got the death certificate, it said coronavirus on there, and I was so confused, Stone said, unquote. Now she has lots of questions. Quote, "If she did have it, why did they not tell us? And why didn't they come test me?" Unquote, Stone says. Almeida says it started when Lola went to the hospital for flu-like symptoms back in January. She had been on a flight from Grand Junction to Las Vegas and also spent some time in Arizona. Within a week, things escalated fast. That Monday, she was ventilated. Tuesday, she wasn't improving, so they put her on a flight for life to St. Joseph's Hospital in Denver. Lola eventually needed ECMO, extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, a treatment to help run her heart and lungs. But that procedure was ultimately the cause of death. It's listed first on the death certificate. What should have taken about a half hour took them about 4 hours, and there was nothing else that they could do, Stone said. A scary situation for sure, but this does not prove the novel coronavirus COVID-19 from Wuhan City, China, that killed Lola. There's no mention of what kind of coronavirus it was. It could have possibly it could have possibly been a less severe form of the virus. Health officials say don't panic. There are no confirmed cases of novel coronavirus in Mesa County or in the state of Colorado, said spokesman for Mesa County Public Health, Amanda Mail. According to MCPH, there are other forms of coronavirus that have minor side effects, which could be the situation in this case. Common coronavirus is just that, common, and it has symptoms similar to the common cold. This is something that we know that a lot of people are worried about, but the risk to people here in the United States is still low, Mail said. Along with the ECMO, the death certificate lists sepsis, pneumonia, influenza, and coronavirus as causes of death. Mesa County Public Health also says COVID-19 is not tested for at hospital labs. So again, the health department said that COVID-19 was not the cause, but they just said that COVID-19 is not tested for in hospitals. So how do they know? Okay, how do they know it isn't? It's speculation, but everybody doesn't want, there isn't one organization here in the United States that wants to take responsibility. I've been looking at this and doing my research for several weeks now. Okay, it's not as if I don't know what's going on and I haven't seen things. The more I see, the more I realize that agencies of various states and governments don't want to take responsibility. Oh, it wasn't the coronavirus, it wasn't this, it wasn't that. Oh, we don't have any coronavirus in our state, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they do. They do. California said they have one case of coronavirus. Really? Then how come you took a plane load of people from Wuhan, China, and took them to Travis Air Force Base that may have been exposed to the coronavirus? And you guys are treating them there. And now they only admit to one person in the state of California? I'm sorry, I don't buy it. Washington State. Washington State has 19 people. Now I question everything. Okay? I'm questioning everything. I don't think people want to take any responsibility for much of anything. I'm going to pull a video here for you to see. Okay, folks, that is the latest on this. That's the latest on this. That's as of this morning. Okay. There's something else here too. Okay. I was able to pick up, and thank you to many of our fellow listeners and viewers of our show. I was able to find an update from the Life Center of Kirtland, and it's dated today, March 7th. It says, we would like to extend our sincere thanks to the various government agencies for the staffing help that arrived today. We now have extra nurses, 2 nurse practitioners, and 1 doctor. They are working alongside our regular staff to provide needed care for our residents. The original number of residents in February of 2019, 120. Number transferred to hospitals during 2019, 54. Number of deaths since February 2019, 26. Note, we are an acute care facility. In a typical month, we have between 3 to 7 deaths. Patients who have died in hospitals, 15. 13 of those tested positive for COVID-19. Patients who have died in our facility since February 2019, 11. We have no information on post-mortem tests of these patients. Current number of residents, 83. Current number of residents with COVID-19 symptoms, 6. Test kits received for in-house testing, 45. Tests completed, ongoing. Test results reported back to us, 0. Total residents reported with positive test results, including in hospitals, 18. Employees, original number of employees on February 19th is 180. Number of employees showing COVID-19 symptoms, 70. 70 employees showing signs of COVID-19. Employees who show symptoms are no longer working at the facility. So those 70 people are no longer working at the facility. My question is, how did COVID-19 get into a facility housing elderly patients? Good question, huh? Was it an employee that brought it into the nursing facility? Was it a family member that brought the disease into the nursing facility? A lot of questions, huh? We can ask questions all night, and I don't think we're going to get an answer. I just don't think we're going to get an answer. I have some more information here too. Total number of confirmed cases throughout the world, 102,188. Total number of deaths so far, 3,491. Total number of people recovered, allegedly 57,389. Again, my question is, how many of those that have supposedly recovered have gone back into the hospital or who have died of the disease? I know for a fact there's a few, but how many? And are we getting honest figures? I don't think we're getting honest figures. People like you and I, and people like me that do these videos, are said to be promoting fear porn. because we don't have actual numbers. We don't know what we're talking about. This is what I was reading today about people that work in the alternative media that were spreading this fear porn. We don't have a clue. Really? The shock figures fly in the face of claims made by President Trump, who's maintained on many occasions that the risk to Americans is low. Dr. James Lawler, a professor at the University of Nebraska Medical Center, where 14 patients were taken from Wuhan, China. Yeah, 14 patients out of those that worked in Wuhan, China were taken to the medical center. And I understand one is still there. But Mr. Lawler, Dr. Lawler, presented the harrowing best guess of estimates of the extent of the outbreak to hospitals and health professionals as part of the AHA webinar called What Healthcare Leaders Need to Know. The AHA is the American Hospital Association. Okay. What healthcare leaders need to know preparing for the COVID-19 virus on February 26th. They had that meeting. The slides obtained by Business Insider suggest that the hospitals need to ramp up preparations now to reduce the death toll around the United States. At the time of the presentation last week, February 26th, there were more than 80,000 confirmed cases around the globe. And in the United States, there were around 60 cases and no deaths. Now we have 102,000 cases, 22,000 more cases than we had just a week ago. Here's the real poop, folks. This is their best guess estimate. Doubling time, 7 to 10 days, meaning the number of people that get sick. Community attack rate, 30 to 40%. Cases requiring hospitalization, 5%. Cases requiring ICU care, 1 to 2%. Cases requiring ventilatory support, in other words, help breathing, 1%. Total cases in 2 months, 96 million cases, 4.8 million admissions to the hospital, 1.9 million in ICU, with a total of 480,000 deaths here in the United States. That's their best guess estimate. Fast forward just 1 week, and the US has over 700 cases, 17 confirmed deaths. Worldwide, more than 102,000 people have been infected. The slides that I just read to you from also reveal the significant risks to older people and those with pre-existing health conditions if they catch the coronavirus. People aged 80 and over have a 14.8 chance of dying if they contract the disease. The slides revealed that risk declines with youth, though those aged 70 to 79 and 60 to 69 are still placed at significant risk, with 8% and 30.6% mortality rates, respectively. Dr. Lawler also estimated that people with heart conditions have a 1 in 10 chance of dying from the disease, compared to the less than 1 in 100 chance among healthy individuals with no pre-existing medical conditions. A spokesman for the Nebraska Medical Center told Business Insider that figures represent the views of Lawler and his interpretation of the data available. It's possible that the forecast will change as more information becomes available, they said. The AHA admitted and added that the views were the speaker's and not its own. However, Dr. Lawler isn't the first to warn that the disease could spread further than first thought. Harvard University professor Mark Lipstitch previously told The Atlantic that up to 70% of the global population will be infected with the coronavirus within the next year. Professor Lipstitch is a member of the Facebook fact-checker organization, healthfeedback.org, and a recent article claimed that an article written in the New York Post perpetuated the unfounded claim that the coronavirus that causes COVID-19 is man-made and may have been leaked from a Chinese lab in Wuhan, China. Okay? They said that the report that was in the New York Post was unfounded as being man-made. Then why does this disease, again, I'm asking questions, why does this disease have components of the HIV virus? If it's not man-made, why does it have genomes from the HIV virus and others as well? There are some that are saying this is a natural strain that has upticked. Really. Professor Mark Lipstitch wrote, quote, any responsible government would strengthen safety and security procedures in high containment labs that will and should be working with the novel coronavirus to develop countermeasures and diagnostics. Overall, Moser's argument is based on unfounded speculation and scientific inaccuracies. Such claims, which continue to be perpetuated by public officials, have real-world repercussions. In other words, Moser is saying that we're going to be held responsible for talking about the coronavirus because it doesn't come from their own mouths. Quote, these rumors and conspiracy theories have real consequences, including threats of violence that have occurred to our colleagues in China. So now they're threatening real world harm to those of us that are reporting the news about this virus. The persistent spread of misinformation about the coronavirus prompted 27 eminent public health experts in the US, Europe, Britain, Australia, and Asia to publish a statement in The Lancet on 19 February 2020, defending the integrity and the response of Chinese health officials. We, quote, we have watched as the scientists, public health officials, and medical professionals in China, in particular, have worked diligently and effectively to rapidly identify the pathogen behind this outbreak, put in place significant measures to reduce its impact, and share their results transparently with the global community. This effort has been remarkable. The rapid, open, and transparent sharing of data on this outbreak is now being threatened by rumors and misinformation around its origins. We stand together to strongly condemn conspiracy theories suggesting that COVID-19 does not have a natural origin. Scientists from multiple countries have published and analyzed genomes of the causative agent, severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, SARS, coronavirus 2, and they overwhelmingly conclude that this coronavirus originated in wildlife, as have many other emerging pathogens, unquote. Again, I want to ask, why does COVID-19 have as part of its makeup HIV? A virus that is natural in origin would not have parts of other viruses connected to it that have made it more deadly. Okay? And these people can say that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm spreading fear porn, and that I'm going to be held responsible for what we're talking about. Until they answer my questions and your questions, we have to hold them responsible. But now they have upped the responsibility quotient and saying that they are going to hold us responsible, and we're going to be threatened with the possibility of injury and death for talking about it. That's what they just said. I have issues with that. They're threatening us. Dr. Lawler, that we were talking about a few minutes ago, did not give a particular time frame for the outbreak, but his estimates ramp up fears that the disease could push U.S. hospitals to their limits. And that's exactly what we see happening in Washington and other places. President Trump, who's faced criticism for downplaying the risk of the disease, signed a spending bill to allocate $8.3 billion to tackle the crisis. The president only at the beginning asked Congress for $2 billion. But the Democrats and Republicans got together and upped that by another $6 billion. And it was signed into law by the president yesterday. While the figure more than triples the amount outlined by the White House last month, Democrat rivals have slammed Trump for saying it's too little too late. The new funding measure provides money for public health agencies for tests, vaccines, and other treatment. It will also provide money to state and federal health and local health officials to respond to the epidemic. The House passed the legislation Wednesday, the Senate did so on Thursday, and the president got it yesterday on Friday. As part of the rapid response to increased public fears about the disease, which has disrupted schools, airlines, and spring break plans. Yes, it has disrupted schools. Some schools throughout the nation have closed as a result of the coronavirus. A group of lawmakers from both parties negotiated the increased figure and other provisions in the measure in a rare sign of bipartisanship. The president also said anyone who wants a test can get a test, throwing widespread confusion into the air, given widespread shortages of tests. One manufacturer of tests said, oh, we'll have all this and this and this. I heard him say it. And yet hospitals and other agencies are scrambling to provide enough tests. And why did officials fly out to the cruise ship off the coast of San Francisco with only a handful, comparatively a handful of tests? When there's 2,000 people on the boat, and they only tested 200. Unless they're planning to go back out and go back out and go back out and continue testing people. One of the fatalities was a man in his 70s who had been sick in Santa Rosa County in the Panhandle. The other was a man in his 70s in Lee County in the Gulf, along the Gulf Coast. Both men had reportedly traveled internationally. Okay, hospitals are scrambling, clinics are scrambling, and states are scrambling for answers. And yet, people like myself that are telling the story, they don't want us to. They don't want us to know the real truth. We've had some deaths in Washington. We've had a woman die of the coronavirus in Colorado, and yet they're trying not to link it to COVID-19. And yes, I understand that there's other viruses out there, but they linked it to COVID. They need to do some splaining, folks. They need to do some splaining. It blows my mind. It literally blows my mind. Okay. With that said, let's go to earthquakes, folks. Something I know a lot about. Today, we show a map of the USGS. Let's show you this. And again, I need to tell you that this is not even an accurate map. They're showing 52 earthquakes on this map. Let me back it out a little. There's 52 earthquakes that they're showing. A few minutes ago, it was no more than 47 earthquakes. We've had a few more. We've had a few more. But they're still not significantly showing the number of earthquakes because there's a lot more than this. Okay. Let's go over here to talk about, well, let's go over here to Pakistan first. We had a 4.5 magnitude earthquake earlier today, 115 kilometers, about 70 miles northeast of Barishal, Pakistan. 4.5 moderate quake. Over in Greece this afternoon, we had a 4.3 magnitude earthquake, approximately 2 miles west of Karini, Greece. 5 kilometers or 2 miles west of Karini, Greece. We came on the air earlier today to talk about a 6.3 magnitude earthquake that was off the coast of Spain. This is off the coast of Spain. This is actually in the Canary Islands. This first came out as a 6.3 magnitude earthquake, a very strong, powerful earthquake. And it occurred out in the open ocean, not far though from an inhabited island in the Canary Islands. It has now, as you see, been downgraded to a large magnitude 5.2 earthquake, 30 kilometers south-southeast of Canico, Portugal. Portugal is on this spit of land right here. It goes up on the west side of Portugal, or Spain. It was reported to be off of Spain, but it's actually off of Portugal. And if the truth be known, it was off the coast of Morocco, excuse me, off the coast of Morocco here. Okay. But this was in the Canary Islands. They've downgraded from a 6.3 to a 5.2, which I find appalling. Now, why is that? Let's go over to the backside seismologist study page, and I'll show you. Okay. We go over here to origin. We click on origins. Okay. 5.2, they said it was, 30 kilometers south-southeast of Canico, Portugal. Okay. Details, phases, magnitudes. We click on magnitudes. Okay. The 5.2, they say, has 31 stations reporting, but no station details confirmed or contributed. Down here is a 5.0 with 262 stations reporting. This earthquake is not even a 5.0. It was a 6.3 magnitude earthquake, not a 5.0. And they downgraded to a 5.2 and will not show us any of the station details. USGS, we have a question. Why are you hiding information. We can click on this 5.0 station details. We can do that, but they're not going to give us the information as a 5.2 earthquake. This tells me that they don't want us to know the truth. They downgraded an earthquake a full 10 magnitudes from 6.3 to 6.2 to 6.1 to 6.0 and all the way down to 5.2. And yet they don't want to give us the information showing it's a 5.2 earthquake. And they said there's only 30 stations reporting it as a 5.2. Then again, I am going to ask, why are you saying there's 260 stations that overall you come up with an average of 5.0 as the magnitude of the earthquake? Doesn't make sense, does it? Hiding information again. Hiding information. Okay, that was the latest quake. That was the latest major quake, let's put it that way. We've also got a quake, a 4.9, 5.0. Anytime they have a 4.9 quake, folks, I'm going to call them on it because I don't trust the 0.9 society. This was at least a 4.9, 5.0 earthquake down here in the Sandwich Islands, 81 kilometers east-northeast of Bristol Island, South Sandwich Islands. We've also had another large quake, a 5.1, over here on the West Chile Rise, off the coast of Chile in the South Pacific. Over here, we have a moderate 4.5 magnitude earthquake, 45 kilometers southwest of Chonchi, Chile. Okay, right here on the coast. This was not an aftershock, even though it happened after this large earthquake, but it happened over here in Chile. We've also had a 4.7 magnitude earthquake, 106 kilometers west of San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina, near the central Argentine-Chilean border. Okay. Let's go to another earthquake that just happened. This is again a moderate earthquake west of Macquarie Island, down here on the North Antarctic Ridge. This is the North Antarctic Ridge down here. Okay, we have seen 5.0 up to 6.0 earthquakes down here near the West Macquarie Ridge in the last year. I would even probably say the last few months. Over here, near the port of Vila, Vanuatu, we had a 5.5 magnitude earthquake. A large mid-range 5.5 magnitude earthquake near this Vila port, Vanuatu. It's also had an aftershock of a 4.8 in that same area. So Vanuatu's gotten hit with a large quake. Over here in Abapura, Indonesia, we've had a moderate 4.4 earthquake hit. Over here in central Indonesia, a 5.2 large earthquake hit 294 kilometers west-northwest of Sumlaki, Indonesia. Okay. There was also another earthquake over here, a moderate earthquake that hit just north of Jakarta over here. I think it was a 4.7. It's been taken off the map. These two earthquakes over here near Chichishima, Japan, a 4.0 magnitude earthquake hit today, and a 4.8 magnitude earthquake hit near Chichishima, Japan, in the Ryukyu Islands. This earthquake up on the north side of Hokkaido, in the Kuro Islands, a 4.8 magnitude earthquake there. in the Kuril Islands. They've taken off a 4.5 magnitude quake that was over here off the east coast of Kamchatka Peninsula, Russia. It was right here, and it's been taken off the map. Folks, we're watching you. We're watching you. Let's go see how many earthquakes there really are, because I feel that we're going to be seeing quite a few more. And I've shown that already. I've shown you that. Okay. We're going over to the EMSC map, okay? Our show, we typically show the USGS map like we just did. And we also show the EMSC map that shows us probably 95% of the earthquakes that hit. About 95% of the earthquakes that hit. Even on the EMSC map, they've taken the earthquake down off of the Kamchatka Peninsula. It's no longer there. But we still have an earthquake listed here in the Aleutian Islands. Let me turn down the light here. We have one 0.5 magnitude earthquake listed here in the Aleutian Islands. And they've taken down the other earthquakes that were with it. There were a total of 6 earthquakes over here on top of that volcano, on top and around that volcano there. Okay, it shows right now a 0.5 magnitude earthquake there. There were 5 other earthquakes, 1.2, 1.6, 1.5, 1.7, and a 2.0, just about 2 hours ago. Okay, now they're just showing one earthquake near Adak Island, Alaska. Again, that's in the Aleutian Island chain. We also have another earthquake, a 2.9, near or off the coast, 156 miles southeast of Kodiak, Alaska, in the Gulf of Alaska, 2.9. Okay, now we're not going to cover all the earthquakes here in Alaska. We don't have time tonight. We don't have time tonight. But look at the swarm of earthquakes around the peninsula and going up into southern Alaska. Okay. We have multiple earthquakes. We have a swarm of earthquakes around Larson, or what is it called? It's called Anchor Point, Alaska. And most of those are just 1.7, 1.5, etc. Over here, Mount Redoubt, we have a 1.8 magnitude earthquake at Mount Redoubt volcano. 1.8 there. We also have 2 other earthquakes here, a 1.4 and a 1.2 near Redoubt volcano. Okay, as you can see, there's swarms of earthquakes going up around Anchorage, Alaska here, and going up towards Mount McKinley. This is Denali National Park. Only one of those earthquakes is a 2.0. The rest are 1s. The rest are all 1s. Let me find that 2.0 for you. There it is. This is a 2.30 at Big Lake, Alaska. A 2.3 at Big Lake, Alaska. Okay. On the north side, northeast side, the northwest side of Denali National Park, we have a 2.0 near Talkeetna, Alaska. 2.0 there. We have no earthquakes up above the Arctic Circle, and we have no earthquakes at all around Katavik at the north shore of Alaska. We have a 1.1 at Esther, Alaska. Manly Hot Springs has got a 1.5. Esther has 0.3. And I thought there was a 2.0 here too, and they've been taken out. They took that off the map. The only other earthquake that we want to pay attention to right now is a 2.7 near Kobuk, Alaska. Again, about a year ago, Kobuk, Alaska was hit by a 6.3. So this earthquake today is an aftershock of that 6.3. Kobuk continues to get hit with aftershocks at that location. Large, very large, strong earthquakes as a 6.3 usually do. Now, we're going down, and it's interesting. Earlier this afternoon, just about 2 hours ago, we had two earthquakes up here. One was near the Puget Sound right here, and it was a 2-something, 2.2 or 2.3. And we had another earthquake about right in here. Okay, it's been taken down. Interesting how that happens, huh? We know there were earthquakes. The seismograms show earthquakes around Mount McKinley, or not Mount McKinley, I'm sorry, Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens, and steaming going off. And steaming going off on Mount Baker. And magma infill going off at all three of those volcanoes, and including another one further south in Oregon, Mount Hood. Fun, huh? And yet the agencies take them down. They don't want you to know about them. According to them, there's no earthquakes at all in Washington and Oregon. But we know better than that. Let's go further east. Let's go over to Montana. Rowan, Montana, on the northwest side of Montana in the Yellowstone magma chamber area. We have a 0.65 today. 0.65. We have three earthquakes further south near West Yellowstone. One is 17 miles northeast of Lima, Montana, a 0.6. One is in Virginia City, Montana, a 0.47. The third one is 22 miles northwest of West Yellowstone. This one is a 0.98. Okay, Mary Greeley today filed a report. According to her, there are 14 earthquakes. Quite a few of those earthquakes were not listed as earthquakes, yet they were. They weren't on the map. They weren't shown on the map, but they were showing on the seismograms. Earthquakes that are being hidden from us. Okay. Before we go over to California, where we have over 100 earthquakes in Southern California, let's go down to Escalante, Utah. Escalante, Utah, down in southwest Utah. Escalante is a national park, by the way. President Obama, during his administration, made it a national park. Bear's Ears, if you have heard of that before. Escalante, Utah had a 3.51 today. A 3.51. They also are not showing an earthquake that happened, and I'm going to, oh gosh, why did it do that? Showed an earthquake over here north of Salt Lake City. North of Salt Lake City, up here in a town called Perry, Utah. Perry, Utah, northern Utah, not that far from the Idaho border. Perry, Utah had a 2.5 today, but it's been taken off the map as well. Okay, we showed you that. Let's go over to California, folks. Another earthquake that's been taken off the map was also a 2.2 right here, near Petrolia, California. It was just barely south of the Gorda Escarpment, which is this fracture zone right here. This is the Gorda Escarpment. This is what? Cascadia subduction zone. Okay, so they took off that small earthquake there, right near the Gorda Escarpment. And they're showing these earthquakes over here at the geysers. What do we know to be at the geysers? What is the geysers? It is an electrical generating plant, a geothermal electrical generating plant, where they are taking steam from the Clear Lake volcano to power turbines to generate electricity for 4 electric companies in Northern California. 20 plus earthquakes there. 20 plus earthquakes up there in the geysers in Sonoma County. Okay, let's go further south and east. Let's go over to Mammoth Mountain. We have 4 earthquakes around Mammoth. 4 earthquakes around Mammoth. A 0.81, a 0.81, a 1.42, and a 1.78. Okay, we had 2 earthquakes, 0.81 and 0.88 in Mammoth, right there in that cluster. And then we had one right down here to the south of there. So Mammoth is rocking. Yes, Mammoth is a volcano, folks. It's a volcano. If we almost go straight south, or excuse me, straight west and a little bit south, we come up to what they call the Pinnacles, where we have a 2.26 earthquake. Right there, the Pinnacles, a 2.26 earthquake. What do we know about the Pinnacles? Number one, the Pinnacles is a volcanic area, and they have done fracking operations around the Pinnacles. So a 2.26 earthquake could be related to either the magma infilling going on in volcanic areas, or it could be related to the fact that they've done oil and gas exploration in that area. Last week, we had several earthquakes in the Pinnacles, and I went and pointed them out to you on Google Earth and showed you that there were oil and gas pumping operations in the nearby area. So in the Pinnacles, we had a 2.26 earthquake, and it's also on this great big huge fault zone going all the way down the coast, the San Andreas Fault. Okay. South of the first one, there's a 1.5, also at the Pinnacles. Okay, let's go further south and just barely west off the earthquake fault, the San Andreas, and down in San Ardo, we have a 0.093 earthquake there, San Ardo, California. Okay. Then Let's go south and east again. This time, we're going to go over to Olancha, California, where we had a 1.33 earthquake. Olancha is 65 miles north of Ridgecrest, where we had a bunch of earthquakes around Olancha immediately during and, or excuse me, before and after the Ridgecrest quakes. Fascinating, huh? Look at all the earthquakes at Kozo Junction. We had a 3.6 magnitude earthquake here at Kozo. Okay. Kozo Junction is one, a volcano. It's called Devil's Kitchen. But it's also one of those geothermal power plants that former Senator Harry Reid and his cronies got together and built a geothermal power plant pulling steam out of the Kozo volcano. So not only do we have a volcano that's also infilling, by the way, but we have multiple earthquakes, a good swarm of earthquakes in this area, a 0.91, a 0.89, and I'm just looking at them. Here's a 2.34 at Kozo. And we had a 3.6. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to locate that one for you. I'm going to try here. And I might find it right away. But there was a 3.36, and then we have that other two there. And that swarm around Kozo volcano. Okay. That's not all, folks. There's more. There's another one further south from Kozo, 9 miles east of Kozo. We have a 0.65. Doggone, I hate it when it does that. 0.65. And we go further south, Little Lake, California, 0.84. And Little Lake has had its share of earthquakes as well, as you can see. As you can see. Cyril's Valley, 0.43. Ridgecrest, 0.57 there. 1.84, 0.84, 1.47. Ridgecrest is 0.90. A 1.0 in Ridgecrest. 0.65, 1.45. Ridgecrest again is 0.93. It's had a share of earthquakes today. 2.42. Here's the 2.42 there. Over 100 earthquakes, folks. Over 100 earthquakes in Southern California. Over here, coming down in the Garlock Fault, Johannesburg, California, 1.22. And you can see the fault right here, 1.2 in Johannesburg. Boron, California, south of there is a 1.78. We can go further south to the west side of Interstate 5. Excuse me, not Interstate 5, the west side of the San Andreas Fault near Gorman, California, a 1.68. Gorman has had its share of large earthquakes. And we can go further south to Loma Linda, California. Not that far from Glen Avon. Loma Linda has a medical center there, one of the world-renowned medical centers. Redland, California, 0.72. Redlands, California, 0.84. Banning, 0.9. This whole area here 0.68. The Anza Gap. Look at the earthquakes in the Anza Gap, folks. The Anza Gap, Riverside, California area. Anza, California, stretches all the way into northeast San Diego, California. Today, we have earthquakes in Borrego Springs, northeast San Diego County, up in the Chocolate Mountains, at 0.76. We also have earthquakes over here in Julian, California, which is the apple capital of San Diego, also in the Chocolate Mountains. Julian, California, 0.89 and a 1.17 in Julian. Let's go over to the Salton Sea. Today, we have no earthquakes around the Salton Sea. Fascinating, huh? Because yesterday we had 6 or 8 earthquakes just south of the Salton Sea. And last night, we had that large earthquake that they have brought down to a 5.49, and it was a lot higher than that. It was a 5.5 earthquake, 5.49 earthquake down just to the north of the Gulf of California, just south of the US border. It's also there on the San Andreas Fault. Let's pull this down a little bit. And you can see the San Andreas Fault coming out of the Salton Sea area through Calipatria, Holtville, El Centro, all the way down here to Imperial City, all the way down crossing the border here, and down here to the Gulf of California. A 5.5 earthquake that they downgraded to a 5.49. And the corresponding quakes there. We have 32 miles away is a 4.0. And right just south of the 5.5 is a 3.9. This is 44 miles northeast of San Felipe, a 3.9, just south of the 5.5, near the Gulf of California there, at the north end, on the San Andreas Fault. Okay. We've had earthquakes in southern Mexico. We've had earthquakes in southern Mexico. Okay. Today, we've had a 4.3 in southern Mexico, a 4.5 in southern Mexico, and those are right next to where? Where are those right next to, I wonder? Right next to Guatemala. Right next to Guatemala here. Okay, but there's a swarm. USGS shows us 2. Look at this swarm here. And yesterday evening, we had a 5.1 here. We had a 5.1. They're still having swarms of earthquakes. 3.9s, 3.7s, 3.7, 4.0. Just a handful of those earthquakes that you actually see there. See the swarms, folks? It's moving. It's moving. 3.7 near Acapulco. Okay. It's moving. We also had a large earthquake over in Costa Rica. Buenos Aires, Costa Rica, we had a 5.0. And some other aftershocks in that same area. 5.0 down there in Costa Rica today. And Larry may have felt that. I haven't even had a chance to talk to Larry to see if he felt that one. But there's a large group of earthquakes there. We haven't talked about Puerto Rico as of the last few days because of everything going on. Okay. but we have still about 40 earthquakes down here on the southwest side of Puerto Rico. Okay, we also have one right on the western end of Puerto Rico, near the Mona Strait. We have a 2.29. This is 3 miles northwest of Mayaquez, Puerto Rico. This is the body of water between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico here. It's called the Mona Strait. Okay. Over here in, well, let's go northwest from Puerto Rico. We have a 3.21 in that same area where we had a 6.3 last August. Last August when Hurricane Maria came through. We had a 6.3 there, and today we've got a 3.21. South of the Dominican Republic and east, we have a 3.6 off the southeast coast of Dominican Republic. Up here, just on the southeast coast, we have another 3.1 near Villahermosa. And going further north to center of the country, we have a 3.2. Going further north, we have a 3.0 near Cabrero, Dominican Republic. Okay. Going over to west central Dominican Republic, we have a 3.2, and over here, Juan Santiago, and I believe this is probably Haiti. Let me click on this thing and see if it says Haiti or not. No, it does not say Haiti, but I will almost bet it's in Haiti. We have it appears to be in Haiti. We have a 3.2 magnitude earthquake there. Okay, so that's what's going on. Well, maybe it might not be in Haiti. It might be on the western end of the Dominican Republic near Haiti, but they had a 3.2 there. So it's been moving. Venezuela today had a 3.0 in Táchira, Venezuela. This is the same area where we had 5s yesterday. Okay. Going over to northern Chile, we have a small swarm of earthquakes right here, or a cache of earthquakes here. 3.4s, 3.1s, 3.5s near Jujuy, Argentina. Argentina on the eastern side of Chile. But Antofagasta, Chile, a 3.1, 3.5, 3.4s. South of there, Canela, Baja, we have a 3.9 Chile, 3.1, and O'Higgins, Chile, we have a 3.1. Further south, we have a 3.5 near Roquera Bajo, Chile, a 3.5 there. And further south, as we spoke about this earthquake earlier that was off the southern coast of Chile, 27 miles southwest of Conchi, Chile, we have a 4.5 there. And then just off the coast in the West Chile Rise, we have this other earthquake, a 4.9, 5.0. I think it came out as a 5.1 and they downgraded to 4.9. Okay, so that's what's going on. Now we've shown you all the earthquakes that have hit. All of the earthquakes that have hit. We have 50 plus earthquakes in Alaska. We've got 100 plus earthquakes in Southern California. What do we think is going on? I was asked that earlier this morning. from one of our viewers. What do you think is really going on? Do we believe there's going to be a large earthquake in Alaska? Yes. Yes, we do. Second, is there going to be another large earthquake in Southern California? I believe, yes, there is. I have to believe, because of all the scientific evidence that we have, not only are we going to be having a large earthquake in Southern California, but I believe we're still going to get Cascadia. We don't have the time. We don't have the date. And I don't believe we're going to have that date until it happens. Until it happens. No man knows the time and the date. Terry tried to explain it. I thought Terry did a fantastic job, and still is. We had a group of you, that were in our chat room yesterday that I don't think you were paying attention to what was going on when we were talking about the report, because it was Terry's report and there was chatter going on about everything else. So I'm not going to go into Terry's report. Those of you that want Terry's report, you can ask us and we'll send you a copy of Terry's report. But meantime, it does say what is actually going on. He explains what's going on now. Terry explains what's going on now. And we're going to continue to explain what is going on. We're going to continue explaining what's going on. Because the evidence still points to Cascadia hitting. No, we don't know the date or the time, but we're going to watch it. And as we see stuff keep popping up, I'm sorry, I had to turn myself off here. I'm watching the chat room now. I appreciate all of you here that have joined us. We really do appreciate it. Right now we have 32 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down, go figure. Now we have 33. But does anybody have any questions? Be happy to answer any questions. Yeah, Terry's papers were awesome, Scooter Pie. You're absolutely right. And yes, Storm Gypsy, they need maps, and there's going to be maps forthcoming. Okay. I will find your address, Puka, and I will send you a copy of Terry's report. Yes, I will. We first started talking about earthquakes a year ago. Well, actually, yes, it was about a year ago when our friend Dutch decided he wasn't going to do it very much. And he probably said he wasn't going to forecast any more earthquakes. And we tried to talk him into staying and doing the job that he's been doing, because he did it very well. But it was at that point that I decided somebody had to pick up the slack, and that's exactly what I did. And we've been going pell-mell ever since. People liked what we did. They saw what we were doing, and we're doing it. And it's not just earthquakes that we report. We report on all kinds of disasters and emergencies, and we still will. That's our mission. Rick Silva, talking about that people just all they want to do is wash their hands and go about their daily routines and business. That's what they think. That's what they think. One of us went shopping today. Wasn't me. I stayed home. But one of us here went shopping, and she wore a pair of gloves, and a mask, and people ridiculed her. I say bushwalk. If you want to wear a mask and gloves to protect yourself, do it. And you are protecting yourselves. You have to do it for you, irregardless of what anybody else says. Regardless of what anybody else says. These people, and even the MSM, do nothing but report on what they want to report. And heaven forbid they report the truth, which they won't do. And yes, Rick, we do have some misinformed kids believing that all we're doing is lying to them because the MSM lies. And it's not just about the coronavirus that they lie about. They lie about everything. And Pookie, yes, it scares the crap out of me that people think that they don't need to protect themselves. And this dear woman, or I'm not going to name her name because all of you know her, went shopping today and got ridiculed. Jenny, I hope you didn't get yelled at. I don't think anybody here would yell at you. And yes, we don't need to listen to the MSM. They're so screwed up it stinks. They've got their noses so far up everybody's butt, they can't help but smell it. Okay, some people won't admit that things are changing and that things are getting really bad. Some people are tired of hearing about the virus and earthquakes, but if you don't tell them, who will? If I don't tell people, who will? Dutch has decided not to. I read a post of his today saying he's being followed around, which may or may not be. But the fact of the matter is, if people choose to ignore what is going on, they're the ones that are going to be held responsible for their actions. They're the ones who are going to be held responsible for their actions, good or bad. But knowing what we are showing you, knowing what we are doing, we're at least putting the information out there so people have a chance to prepare. If he doesn't prepare, or somebody doesn't prepare, that's up to them. But it's going to be a sad day when something happens, and it will. They are not prepared, and they're going to come to the rest of us expecting us to bail them out and give them what we have, or share with what we have with them. And quite honestly, my answer is going to be the same answer the Lord gave when a group of virgins decided they didn't have enough oil in their lamps. And the Lord said, I don't know you. And the door was closed. That's what the real truth is. How long have I been an emergency manager? How long have I worked in the public eye and have seen things go on? How long have I asked people and told people that they need to be prepared for emergencies and they don't want to listen? Okay. And Puka asked a good question. Thank you for asking this. If masks didn't work, nurses would not be scrambling to find more and have their own supplies. Yes, they do work. And now we're being told, don't go and buy any masks. Let the professionals have them. Really? Bonnie Blake, yes, I will talk about the upcoming moon phases. And it's just not the phase of the moon. We have a full moon coming. We have a full moon coming. But we also have some planetary alignments involving the moon, the sun, and Neptune, and Mercury. During the next few days, the 8th, 9th, the 11th, and 12th, we're going to see some planetary changes, some planetary alignments. And no, it's not the planetary gravity that we're going to worry about. It's called electromagnetism from the planetary alignments. Electromagnetism. During those planetary alignments causes the ocean waves to go in and out, right? The tides to go in and out, okay? It also causes the plates to heat up. And what happens when the plates heat up? The tension between the plates is reduced. The magma between the plates gets thinner. And then pretty soon we don't have hardly any tension going on here, and we're going to see an earthquake. The plates are going to slip. Okay, that's what's going to happen. And it's not just that. Tonight into tomorrow, we're expecting a CME, a coronal mass ejection, coming from the sun 2 days ago. Today is day 3. It'll be here tonight. Somebody asked us about it too late after I had already signed off earlier. Okay. So we have a coronal mass ejection that has a solar wind with it. That's one. The solar wind carries radiation along with the coronal mass ejection. It's going to cause the plates to heat up and slip more, cause damage to satellites, probably, and to electronics here on Earth. So we have a lot of stuff going on. We have the CME, we have planetary alignments, and we have cosmic radiation. Because our magnetosphere has thinned out, because we're in the grand solar minimum, we have more radiation, cosmic radiation, entering our atmosphere. Cosmic radiation also helps to heat up the plates. During the past few days, we've seen an increase in the amount, the number of large earthquakes, 5.0 and above. A large number of them. I don't believe it's over. Now, I subscribe to another person on YouTube that had information for us in regards to the planetary alignment. Oh, why is it doing that? In regards to the planetary alignment. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Oh, let's see. I've got quite a lot of stuff here. And maybe it's not going to come up right off the top of my head. No, it's not going to. Darn it, I thought it was right here for us, but it's not. Okay, regardless, he talked about planetary alignments, and he said the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and the 12th. Actually, the 8th and 9th, and the 11th and 12th is what his prediction was, that we could expect to see some earthquakes in the range of 6 to 7 and even possibly an 8. He also mentioned Southern California. He mentioned the coastline, of the Western United States and Canada. He mentioned Cascadia by name. He mentioned the Aleutian Islands. And he mentioned the South Pacific. Folks, we have a responsibility to prepare ourselves. I hope you will. We're going to be watching earthquakes and the CME very cautiously tonight. We're going to be watching it very closely and see what happens. And if something happens, we'll be back here to tell you about it. Okay? Now, for those of you that have been watching our program, you know that we have a telephone number you can call. Our meeting ID is 238-494-3128. The meeting ID again is 238-494-3128. Our telephone number here at Emergency Management Associates is 1-669-900-6833. 1-669-900-6833. We're going to open up our lines right now and prepare to take calls from all of you wonderful folks, our friends and family here at the Emergency Management Associates. We want to take calls from you. We want to find out what you think. What you think. And yes, it's important to us. It's important to us. Okay. So the lines are open. 1-669-900-6833. And our meeting ID again is 238-494-3128. And we look forward to taking your calls. So do please call in. Be happy to answer any questions that you have. And you heard that California was suddenly shut down. Can't leave homes, guards and choppers overhead. Man died of the virus. Yes, they're claiming that there's one person dead of the virus. We have heard rumors of them shutting California down. We've heard that rumor. I don't know whether they've done it or not. However, let me tell you something I do know about. We believe either the Army, the US Army, or the National Guard is over off of Interstate 15, north of Las Vegas. And they're going to be limiting traffic going down Interstate 15. Now, my family hopes that they can go to Los Angeles for a concert the first part of May, first weekend in May. I'm hoping they can. But Los Angeles is already shutting off concerts, canceling concerts as a result of this coronavirus. Now, the concert that my wife and family want to go to is a BTS concert at the Rose Bowl. Where does BTS come from? South Korea. What is going on in South Korea? They've had a huge, huge outbreak of coronavirus there. So why would you want to travel from South Korea to Southern California and possibly spread the coronavirus? And yes, I am sure there are people that have gone and bought plane tickets from South Korea to go over to Southern California to watch this concert. People do it all the time. How many of these people may have the coronavirus and don't know it? Because we all already know that the coronavirus period where you may have it and not even know it is anywhere from 7 days to 28 days. Okay. I'm hoping my wife and daughter won't go. The daughter's already bought the plane tickets and has made arrangements for the rental car to drive down there and made the hotel reservations and is expecting to spend their share of money picking up stuff. I don't know. We shall see. Rick said he went into a doctor's office and a lady had a cough. On receptionist sat down beside him and just coughed and covered all over everything. Rick, I'm so glad you had a mask too. I wore a mask to church last week, and I'm going to wear another one to church tomorrow. One of our fellow people that is in chat that watches and listens to our program works at a hospital here in Salt Lake, as well as quite a few other people that I've talked to, and they don't think anything's going to happen. They don't think anything's going to happen. And yet we have somebody up in Davis County, just north of Salt Lake, that has the coronavirus. How many others have it and don't know it? We're going to find out, I'm sure. But nobody knows. Nobody knows. Kansas got their first case. Minnesota got their first case yesterday. Florida's got cases. Atlanta's got cases. The East Coast has got cases. Pennsylvania had a case or two yesterday. It's all over. Texas has numerous cases. There's coronavirus everywhere. I don't know. Yes, Connie. They don't, YouTube doesn't want me to be seen. They edit out parts of my video. They censor it. They buffer it like heck when I'm over on YouTube, so nobody can see it, see my video, see me, talk to me. And they've shut down my channel, or they shut down my presentation several times. That's why I no longer do live YouTube presentations. I did one earlier today. It was on the air a little over 40 minutes. I don't know if we got buffered or not. Nobody said a word. They were just glad to see me. Occasionally I will come back, but I'm not going to do it every day. They were also taking money that you folks donated to our program, took 60% of it, and then they didn't pay me the money they owed me. That happened many, many times, many times. And I'm not the only person they've done it to. I know a lot of creators, a lot of YouTube creators like myself that are no longer on YouTube. They've gone on to other venues so they could talk and talk about what they need to talk about and not be troubled by YouTube. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We want people to be happy. We want to be able to give everybody the information that we have so people will know what's going on. Yes, hospitals are already announcing their healthcare collapse. They're unprepared. Bottom line is they're unprepared. And I don't believe they really want to put up with it. Rick, they may be affiliated with the government. They're in the government's pocket. And yes, stores are being bought out of certain items, and it's just not gloves and masks. Food and water are disappearing from store shelves everywhere, even here in Salt Lake City. Video from LA, huh? Shipping cans not coming in. Store shelves empty. Doesn't surprise me. And Marshall, yes, some people are plenty dumb. They're oblivious to what's going on around them. And Marshall, thank you for the donation. I got it today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Marshall sent me a very nice card, by the way. A very nice card. And then there's a blurb on the back. A blurb. The room you're in right now may seem empty, but don't let appearances fool you. You're never alone. God is right by your side like a dear friend. He's there to offer comfort and care when you need it most. He's never distracted, always ready to listen and help. You may feel his healing touch through the skill of a physician, the consolation of a friend, or the gentle reassurance of God's own words as they replace worry and discomfort with hope and peace. Find rest in his arms as you pour your heart out to him. And the prayer offered in faith will make the sick person well. The Lord will raise them up. Thank you very much, so very much for your tireless efforts to bring us the latest info on quakes, volcanoes, tornadoes, COVID-19, and all calamities. Feel better. Love and prayers, Marshall. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you so very much. We appreciate your cards and letters. We really do. Negotiator, it's good to see you, brother. We appreciate each and every one of you. We appreciate each and every one of you. You mean a lot to us. Bill, hello, it's good to see you. Marshall, I love you too, man. Love you all. You are truly family. You are, all of you. And you mean the world to us. Thank you, Leslie. We appreciate you guys being here and sharing information with us too. I love getting information in emails and text messaging. And I even put it here on the air. Bill, I am feeling a little bit better. Every time I think I'm getting a scratchy throat, I pop in a lozenge. And it's only been because I'm talking too much, probably. But I'm here. Linda, that's a great idea. Keep good walking shoes. Good soled walking shoes. Water, food, bedding, clothes, medicinal products, personal items. You're going to need them. Yes, Terry's got a great paper out. 21 pages of great information. Bill, you eat them like candy. I've got a full bag of them upstairs. I now have a small bag down here that I keep here. Yes, keep a bug out bag in your car. Keep one over at the foot of your bed along with shoes right next to your bed that you can slip into in case you have an earthquake and glass breakage so you don't cut your feet. Keep the shoes right next to your bed. It's still cold out here. Yeah, it got almost up to 70 degrees here in Salt Lake today, but it's going to drop down to 50 as a high tomorrow, and then into the 40s for the next coming days. It's still cold. Make sure that you have warm jackets and clothes. Yes, Bill, I got your survival video. It's excellent. Thank you. I may even put it on the air. I have to be careful so they don't give me a copyright strike. That's one reason why I show the fair use document, because I believe everybody has the right to have that information. Yes, Connie, I have your number too. And no, I'm not getting your Wix messages. I don't know why. The last Wix message I got from you was over a month ago. And I'll check again. And yes, folks, I almost forgot to mention that. Don't forget tonight, before you go to bed, change all your clocks ahead, spring ahead tonight. We're going to lose 1 hour of sleep. So make sure you put your clocks 1 hour ahead. 39 degrees at 10 p.m. at night. Wow. Well, it's going to get down there into the 30s and 20s this week here still. And 85 in Arizona. What fun. Yes, Connie, it's crazy. I totally admit it is. It's insane is what it is. Yes, and change all the batteries in your smoke and carbon monoxide testers. Change all your batteries tonight. Make sure you have plenty of 9-volt batteries. Yeah, negotiator doesn't have to change his clocks, the lucky dog. The lucky dog. I believe Scooter Pie has got a copy of Terry's paper. I've got a copy of Terry's paper. Sharon, send me an email to Gmail. Send us an email to our Gmail account. We'll send you a copy of Terry's paper. Scooter Pie has sent me messages. Yes, you have. Thank you. We appreciate all of you. We really do. Folks, it's getting back to the end of our show. We want to thank you all for being here with us. Thank you for contributing and helping each other. Thank you for your questions and even your answers. Thank you for everything. You guys are awesome, an inspiration. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Yes, you need to learn how to forage in your area. Absolutely. Learn to find out what is growing in your area so you'll know what is good and what is bad. Okay? I appreciate and love each and every one of you. I ask the Lord to bless you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. If anything else happens, we will be here to talk about it as soon as the information becomes available. Folks, that's the way it is. Saturday, March 7th, 2020. For Emergency Management Associates, this is Ron Tyler. Have a great evening, folks. See you soon. Thank you all, everyone. We will talk to you later. Have a great night.